as to why it has not protected its young actors. And this is what you don't understand. This is what they don't understand. Black Hollywood is something that they think they could just discard. It's not relevant. They've used countless excuses to undermine us as people and tried to destroy the very fabric of our very own existence. So now, since people love what I was saying about Hollywood yesterday, they was like, man, you got to continue this. I'm like, yeah, we're going to continue this on the Patreon. We got a lot going on. As you heard earlier, just Patreon, you found out what happened with Patrick Swayze. Now, let's go ahead and expand a little further. Why do you think there's no black studios? Still, do you know Hollywood had to give a reason why it wasn't so many black studios? All these platforms due to what they call entrenched systematic issues. Well, they're underrepresented, and there's lack of financial backing. And then we have what we call executive roles is underrepresented because most of them don't have the experience, or they haven't been in this business long enough. And this is mostly built up as excuses. They were purposely excluded from key network positions. Evidence had shown black-led projects and movies are profitable, and the industry loses billions of dollars by undervaluating them. They don't care about Hollywood performing well for blacks. They want blacks to be in their movies doing well for them, but under a controlled role. That's all they want. They don't care if they have to sacrifice the movie losing billions of dollars. They don't want you to enterprise. They want always to have a foot on the back of your neck. And unfortunately, that's what's happening here. Despite evidence showing all of these key things, and they lost billions, tokenization, financial hurdles, they persist in the hindering black creators from owning their own narratives and gaining equal footing in Hollywood by creating what is called bias risk assessment. They'll say, well, you just don't chart well in international settings. So you're just not big internationally. You're just not international slides. Black sell internationally. What do they think? Everybody international is just white? They don't put the movies over there. The studios refuse to put black films in the UK and all the markets saying, oh, no one's going to come and see it. There are black people in this area. They'll come and see it. There are white people that watch movies with black people in it. Now, they're purposely underfunded. Black-led projects often receive smaller budgets, even when they have proven success. Saying the movie they got brought in 80% higher in revenue, right? 80% higher in revenue. Guess what? Don't even matter. It's like, wow, the numbers went up 80%. Still gonna get a low budget. Still gonna get underperformed, saying, well, that was just magic in a bottle. No matter how proven the actor is, from Don Cheadle to Samuel Jackson, Don Cheadle tried to do Miles Davis. He played every role they wanted him to play, and then he did Miles Davis. They had to create a fictional character to put in the movie because they wanted to go and chart internationally. They had to put a white actor in the film. Now, perceived risk. Studios historically label black-centric films as a niche or a niche, right? And they say, well, here's what's going on. If we underestimate these broad appeals and hesitate to invest, this kind of backfire on us, and we just got to give them a little bit of money just to show we not racist. Now, the reason that this happened is because there's a power dynamic that the people are not going to relinquish the power and they're not going to let you obtain it. Eddie Murphy tried to obtain power, and you see what happened to him. Bill Cosby tried to obtain power, and you see what happened to him. They clip you. They snip, snip, snip. And when they snipping away, there are fewer and fewer people in position of power to do anything. That's why the executive gaps, you seem to see the same type of people. You seen Greenberg, Goldstein, Weinstein, Gold. A lot of Aries running things there. A lot of Jerrys. A lot of Steins. Right? And a lot of those people are running the business. And they're running it right into the ground. Now they said, well, what about the perceived risk? So, we didn't talk about the risk. Now the risk that's a major thing now. We can't just ignore the risk. Can we? Or can we not? Because what I'm starting to see and what I'm realizing is that it's a double-edged sword people are playing with. And this is why young black Hollywood talent cannot be explored. When it comes to getting actors, they act like American black actors cannot take these movie roles. If they're a big budget movie, they get black actors from the UK. And you think like, wow, this person is an American. No. They're from overseas. That's what people think. When people start making their observations into America or society and what they think or believe is the end all be all of everything, right? This is the end all be all of human existence. Hollywood is missing out on billions by undervaluing African Americans in films. As Sinners has told you, movies are profitable and people will come watch it. More white people saw Sinners than black people, but the African American numbers were up. Sinners was shown internationally. Why? Because they had to have a white person in the movie so that they say they can show it internationally. They don't want the movie to perform well internationally because then it would basically justify them having to put funds into the black community for movies. Harvey Weinstein was the only one that would allow blacks to make movies and make money off of them. Harvey Weinstein gave money to blacks. He would give them $10 million for their film. They don't think about that anymore. They don't care. Hollywood now, they don't want the little $10 million budget that's going to make $20 million. They'd rather put $100 million out there to try to make 400 and 500 million or $1 billion. Let's put up 200, 300, we can make $1 billion out of it. That kind of greed cycle destroyed the entire industry of how movie making was going in, and we call that the Marvel or the superhero phase, because only superhero movies or Marvel movies was doing those $1 billion numbers. So unless it was a great animated company, you weren't going to see it as much. Well, most people out there, they look at what's called the executives. And as long as they hold what they call green light power, because the movie got to get greenlit, right? Somebody's got to green light the movie. And as long as they don't have the film greenlit, then things are going to go off the rails, right? You got to have somebody who's going to green light your movie. And then you have people that fold, like Seth Rogen. You know, Seth Rogen had to fold, and he had to turn his back on people who was pretty much his friends, like Eddie Griffin. Eddie Griffin turned down Hollywood. He was making his movies. He was fine. Harvey Weinstein was the one giving all this money to blacks and giving all these promotions and everything. And Harvey Weinstein would talk to you any kind of way he wanted. He was Harvey Weinstein. So all of a sudden, Harvey's like doing all these fundings of movies and giving them, all of these chances. And you would have never saw a lot of these black films that came out if it wasn't for Harvey. They took Harvey down, right? Right after that, Bill Cosby goes down. You don't see anybody giving money to black films anymore. So now, all of these great black actors that we've seen, we can't get them in movies anymore because Hollywood's not hiring them. They're cool with just all white casts. That's just considered to be normal. Let's just hire all white people in the movie. It's like, wow, really? That's Hollywood. That's realistic. It's insane. But it is what it is. New Line Cinemas out there, they just owned by different people. The film industry and the model changed. Everybody wants to get money, but hey, if they want to put their little white people movie together that don't make any money, like the movie Regretting You, they spent $30 million putting that movie together on some book, and they thought, oh wow, all the white people are gonna show up to watch this film, and they turn around and they find out nobody's there to watch the film, and it loses money. They don't even care. Well, this could be it, and when you start seeing situations that are pretty much the end all be all of your existence, what are you going to do in Hollywood? What is your plan? What is your what is your needful thing? What is your glory? Hmm? It's increased awareness. People have highlighted a $10 billion loss just by undervaluating black stories that they push for change. And there have been a lot of great movies and plots that have come by that they just haven't fixed and just refuse to work with. It's complete and utter nonsense. Now you see Ryan Coogler coming through making inroads for deals with financial terms and challenging the old system of doing things. So he's proving that there's money here. There's things to be bought, there's things to be dealt with. It's ways that you can make money as a black filmmaker. And as a black filmmaker who came up as an independent, who was sought out and found by Forrest Whitaker to help put up the funding, this is what we need from our black actors who've made it in society so we can put together our own films. But see, he had to go to Marvel and got to go to the majors to get paid. He don't have his own studio. See, there's nobody like us backing him. So long as he's making money for them, he's good. But he has to follow their scripts. They have to approve and give him the green light to do whatever it is that he's doing. They have to cut the check for him. Jordan Peele, same way. Oh, Jordan Peele, oh man, he's great, but what studio does he own? Oh, he's got to work for the people. And then, they'll sit there and approve what he does if they want to, just to say, hey, we're not racist. We promoted Jordan Peele. You see how that works? For every one that gets in, 35,000 of them could make movies that fail. But see, the movies we make, we have people coming back to the theater to watch. People saw Sinners like 2, 3 times at the movie theater. They didn't want them to succeed. That's why. That's why there's no room for them. They look at these actors in Black Hollywood and say, why in the world are we here? Why are we dealing with them? We don't need them. Oh no, it takes a little longer than. We don't need them. They don't care. Your job here is to make something happen. That's your job. Make something happen. That's it. That's the only reason we have you here. We want you here because we need something to happen for us. Young Black Hollywood. It's all about perception. That's all they care about is the perception. They don't care who makes it or who falls or who don't. Outlaw, you ran, Ro ran, y'all all ran, y'all been exposed all week. All weekend we've been exposing y'all. Completely ran. You had one Nick fan up here. Even if you put on a dress, that don't mean you're gonna get success. See, the dress is only one part of it. You don't have to put on a dress for that. They want to know, are you gonna do what we tell you to do? We don't want any problems out of you. If not, we're gonna replace you with another guy and give it to them because we don't really care about your success. We don't care about you enterprising. Well, y'all need to win because y'all what, in third place now? Ooh. Oh my God, here comes a ghost flag. Here comes a ghost flag. That should be on the Steelers. Yep, touchdown. Ooh, Zay Flowers got like 2 80-yard bombs. Well, anyway. Man, this game is intense. I've been flipping back and forth between the Laker game. But you guys wanted to know, so I might as well tell you what's actually going on here. Faison Love was getting all of this support because of people like Jon Favreau. Jon Favreau was his guy, you know. And the fact that Jon Favreau came into the picture, into the mix, and was putting him in actual positions, the studios actually went in a wrong direction and didn't pay attention to what they were supposed to be doing, and a miscommunication and the studios coming together. They said, well, we got to buy out all these companies because Eddie Murphy tried to take over television and movies. So Eddie Murphy Productions had a deal with CBS. So he was one of the producers of the Arsenio Hall show when it first came out. Then he put yeah, we already proved it, Corey. They front runners. We can't take Outlaw them serious. So Eddie Murphy decided he was going to put his money up where his mouth is. Eddie said, okay, I'm going to put Red Fox in the movie out. And he did what was that, the PJs. Eddie was getting ready to do some television shows in Black America and say, all right, he's going to put together his own channel and enterprise. And this was starting to cause CBS to lose a lot of money. Now, here's the thing. CBS had a lot of money on the table for Eddie Murphy for a new movie so that he would abandon his whole deal. So they decided not to take the PJs, and the PJs went to Fox, because he owns the studio. And he didn't use Paramount, which was Paramount, CBS. Let's just say they took a route less traveled. They decided to go up against the grain and flip the whole script, go against what He decided to do the PJs on Fox. Fox paid for it. He did the PJs for years, and it pissed off the major studios. But they were like, okay, we don't care. We don't care about that. We just don't want that on CBS. So now it's on Fox. But he had his own studio, his production studio. Then Eddie decided he was going to do Harlem Nights his way, and after that, and his movie started to not perform as well. He wanted to do Boomerang with the Huntland brothers, and Paramount is trying to tell them, we don't want Boomerang to be played by Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy could be in the movie, but we don't want, why can't it be him? And they wanted a white person in there to play the role. They thought Eddie wasn't an attractive lead male. Not since Billy D. Williams and Lady Sing the Blues has there been romantic leads with black characters. And we're talking 1992. So that's not that long ago. There was no romantic lead. So if Eddie Murphy didn't do Boomerang and force himself to be the lead in the movie, it wouldn't have done well. And they came out and tried to sabotage the film. And for what? Yes, he's the reason Arsenio Hall got that show. They basically was waiting for an opportunity to put Arsenio in. He had guest appeared on a couple of TV shows prior, but he always wanted that role, like to be Johnny Carson and do like the Tonight Show and stuff like that. He always wanted to do that. It was like, all right, well, cool. I'm gonna see what I can do to help out. They coming out with a show on CBS. That's perfectly fine. Oh, Nerea. See, they had this girl named Nerea. Nerea plan was to come through and change the actual dynamics of what everybody was supposed to be telling you about the business, etc., etc. They had no plans, zero plans, or making you a priority in Hollywood. Why? They didn't care. Man, now the Steelers then came back with 55 seconds left. This has been a crazy last 2 minutes. Yeah, well, oh, they magnet balled them. They magnet balled. Oh, wow, that's dirty. The NFL just magnet balled a kicker on an extra point. There was nothing that could stop that ball and make it do what it just did. They straight magnet ball that. So now, if they kick a field goal, Baltimore hit this field goal, they could win. Unbelievable. Wow. They just got screwed. To make sure there's not going to be an overtime, they made this kick. Now, watch, this kick is going perfectly up, and then they just spin the ball way Right. Like how? He kicked it straight down the middle. There's no wind blowing. There's no wind blowing. There's no wind. You see the flag at the top? It's not even moving. It's zero wind. He's kicking the ball straight. How the hell is it going to go over there? That's what I be talking about, right? No, it's that magnet ball. That's the problem. And a great run back by Baltimore, who got all their timeouts, all three. Mitchell runs the ball back to like midfield. Yeah, well, it's all about the perception. What do you want the perception to be? All these black actors in Hollywood, they put them in obscure roles where they have to be either LBGTQ or do something that's socially against the grain of what would actually matter to people. Their humanity is taken away from them. Here comes a ghost flag. An illegal formation call once a play is considered to be perfect. How is there an illegal formation? Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, well, when you see things that don't make sense, that's when you make an analogy. Yeah, yeah, it doesn't. How many times do you got to see it to believe it? This is Hollywood. This is what they do. You have when they say Black Hollywood, what are you willing to sacrifice for Black Hollywood? People don't care. Yeah, they using black UK stars to play to play USA characters. And it's like, okay, when the guy from the football show, All American, was in there. And you were thinking, like, man, all these dudes, I thought they were American. Then you start to find out they're not American. They're just UK actors. The guy from Snowfall. All of these actors. And they're good in their own right. But they're Americans that can act too. Why aren't you hiring them to play Americans? You know, this is just some of the few that you see. Oh, he caught the ball. And there's a timeout on the field. 4th and 7. Timeout is called. As Likely makes the catch to put them at the 20. Now they can kick the field goal, win the game. No overtime. NFL is dirty as hell, boy. Dirty as hell. Oh, no. They're not gonna like this video because it's telling them a whole different story. Because now our top black actors from Denzel, they put Kevin Hart in there. Chadwick Boseman passed away. We had lost all the great years that we would have had with Morris Chestnut, Forrest Whitaker. They even got Chris Tucker. That lets you know how crazy it is. Judas and the Black Messiah. Not really. It's okay, but not really. But again, actors who you didn't know were from the UK. But it's the rise of black British actors. They're taking all the American roles. In Wicked, the black woman that plays in there, she's British. Martin Luther King. And they made him miss the field goal. And the Steelers are going. And the Steelers advance and Baltimore season's over. And they save Aaron Rodgers' career. Now the Steelers are going to go to the Super Bowl to play against the Chicago Bears. Manufactured, baby. Now, Martin Luther King was played by a man from the UK. You couldn't find a black United States man. It's not the things that he's not a good actor. It's just like the movie Detroit, and they used John Boyega, who's from the UK. And this is what Samuel Jackson was making the point, saying, hey, no knock on him. Yes, he's black too, but he doesn't understand what it's like because he doesn't have any relatives here that went through this slavery or know what that was like. They don't know. Not to say they can't identify. They don't know. They're not from here. Most of these black American actors, they've had ancestors that went through this. Went through the segregations and the had things going down here in this actual city or any town that they were in. They knew about the racial injustice here and how it was. So they can embody what's going on there. Not to say that he wasn't going to do a great role in that movie. Detroit's a good movie too, by the way. Yep, it's over, Harbaugh. Yep, now they get to save they good old Aaron Rodgers for his final story, his final run. NFL is something else, buddy. Something else. Yeah, you remember Lamar from BMF? Yeah. Eric Kofi Abreu. He's a British actor with a very British accent, very heavy. And as skilled and as qualified as he is, everybody loved him as Lamar. That's Lamar. But he's British. Doesn't mean that he isn't talented. But what they're doing is they're making the great black actors here in the United States, they're making them take the co-starring roles. Is to say, well, you don't have the degree of acting that they have in the UK. I mean, you look at some of the greatest actors that came up our way and up our pipe. You know, they had Michael B. Jordan went to a great school, Samuel Jackson, Denzel Washington, all of these people, Isaiah Washington, one of the great schools of black acting, one of the greatest natural actors they are. This man literally put himself on the map by stealing scenes he was in. They shut down Black Hollywood, movies that they considered to be too black. Tim Reed took the place of Harold Melvin, I think his name was, who was on the Heat of the Night TV show with Ed O'Connor, who played Archie Bunker. He kept doing drugs, couldn't stop doing drugs, went to rehab, came back, and they kept bringing him back to the show. A black man getting that many chances was crazy. But that's how good he was on the show. But he just couldn't stop doing drugs. So they finally kicked him off for good because he ended up dying. Did drugs and finally just OD. And now Tim Reed is taking the place to save the show. So to thank him, he got his own show called Frank's Place. And they was like, oh, this show is too black. This show is just too black for words. So now, remember Lincoln Heights? Too black for words. Rock. Whoa, 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 whoa. Too black for words. That's what the complaint was. The show is just too black. Oh, the Lakers got the lead now, so that's what it is. Oh, that's a block. South Central. Exactly, with Lorenz Tate. Exactly. This was when television was becoming too black or too urban. So what do? They get rid of Mr. It's Too Urban show. They get rid of all that. They don't need it. So they throw that stuff out of the mix, out of the water, out of existence. We've never heard of it. That's what they do. I'm telling you, these people are something else. It's devious. So that's the excuses they give. They don't believe you're deserving of any type of response, or you don't deserve anything from them. They don't feel that you're profitable, but they know you're profitable. Yeah, The Great Debaters, another great movie that wouldn't get the time of day. It was a small budget film. They don't make movies like that anymore. Denzel Washington had to lend his star power to the film in order for it to get made. Some things that black actors try to do to give back to the community when they don't have any control. As much respect as Denzel has, he tries to help out in theater and help out, with the performance, but they still, like his son, as great as an actor he is, people underestimate how great his wife is, Denzel's wife. She's been doing theater her whole entire career. Like they met in theater. So when you're seeing all of these angles taken and you're seeing all of these different yeah, when you're seeing all these angles being taken and all of this, you know, agenda based, analogies, if they put us all on an equal playing field, we would outperform them. That's what they're afraid of. Our films would outperform them. We had great storylines, great films that just didn't get in the time of day. Can you imagine if House Party was international? You think white kids didn't like House Party, the movie? You see what I'm saying? They wanted to keep that just some hood stuff. Mm-hmm. Keep it a hood movie. Well, no, now movie theaters are losing money. Now these major movie companies are losing money, trying to corner the market to keep out the Latino market, keep out the black market. Now you want it to be all white. It's all white, and guess what? People don't want to go see your movies. They want to stay home. All white people don't want to go out no more. They only come out if the kids want to go see, Smokey the Bear 3. And that's it. That's other than that, they go right back home. They don't come out to the movies like they used to. They'll just be like, well, it'll be streaming in a week. I can just watch it at home. That's what they want now. So you created that maze you can't get through. And Black Hollywood is suffering. Yep. Oh, I get it. Like it was a game or something, right? Um, the Knicks are favored to beat the Pistons tomorrow. It's going to be a low scoring game. I'm going to go ahead and bet on the Knicks. I would take the Knicks in the under. Mm-hmm. Well, when you start seeing a setup, when you get to a certain level, you start seeing what they call setups. Mm. No, I never took solace in that. That never meant anything to me. It meant something to me if it was a standard to the situation. Like it have to have some importance. If there's no importance, then there's no need. Mm. Well, if the Knicks lose, the Knicks and Pistons, oh dog, if they lose, it's over. There's nothing to even discuss. If they lose, it's over. Oh no, I'm betting the Knicks. I'm betting the Knicks in 1.5. They the favorites. Now y'all are favored to win tomorrow over us. Yep, y'all are favored to win, and I think it's gonna be a low-scoring game. Pistons are coming off a back-to-back. Yeah, remember Pistons coming off a back-to-back. So we'll see it. No, I don't care about a Laker game against the Grizzlies. It's only a story if they lose to a game that don't have John Moran in it. The fact that they're in a dog fight, you know, in a game that don't have John Moran in it, you know, just kind of tells you all you need to know. But it's funny how the Knicks fan shows up when there's no conversation about the Knicks. But when it was a conversation about the Knicks, they couldn't be found. How peculiar. No, society plays these games. They want everybody to be kumbaya till it's not time to be kumbaya. They want you to be coon. Pistons are coming off a back-to-back. Gotta bet the Knicks. So if you want my advice for tomorrow, bet the Knicks, the 1.5, and bet the under. Oh, now you let's go Knicks. Yeah, but when the game was going on, what was all that let's go Knicks? What you mean, Stevie Nicks? Stand back, stand back. Not the New York Knicks. Not the we blew it New York Knicks. What happened to that? We blew it. What about this? Oh, we blew it. What happened over there? Oh, the Knicks blew it. See, I know things about New York Knicks that you don't know, that you should know. Y'all are mentally out of it. And now it's only gonna get worse. Worse than that fixed Steelers game. There's so much. There's so much people don't understand that it just don't make any sense to me. I mean, 100% across the board. It just don't make a lot of sense. So if I see something that's not adding up, it doesn't make a lot of sense, I'm not going to go along with it. As individuals, we need to get back to our root of making things happen in the right perspectives instead of taking shortcuts. If you keep taking shortcuts, you're going to end up, fizzling out. A lot of people take fast money. And when you take fast money, you end up out the game real fast. Oh, the Bears are beating the Packers. No question. Next Saturday, Bears and Packers, we're winning. Bottom line. What are we doing? We got nuts out here. What do I believe will be the final outcome of what game? The final undoing? Ooh. Well, the Suns beat OKC, which I knew would happen, so I took the Suns on the points and won that. I mean, I've been winning off the Knicks all week, 3 in a row. I said, y'all getting ready to go on a skid. I bet Atlanta in the points. I bet it against the Knicks 3 straight times and won. There's no way I'm gonna mess this up knowing that they're not gonna let them lose 4 times. They can't afford it. They do that, the Knicks is done. They lose to Detroit, they crush. They're gonna have to pull the ultimate screw job of screw jobs, and I'm expecting it. So I'm gonna be covered on both sides. Oh, 100%. Oh, I promise you it do. Oh, it's gonna matter in the end. Detroit plus 115. Hey, I'm covered on both sides, so if the Pistons don't win, I'm gonna win the money. See? I'm expecting a screw job. K gonna go under. They gonna mess this game up because the Pistons are doing too good. I just don't see how the Knicks can win. I don't see how the Knicks can win this game at all. But if you're a betting man, that's something you can look into. We ain't even played the game yet, and I already can see how it's gonna play out. You gotta know the script. And knowing the script is half the battle. That's right. Your boy Cino is out of here. Talk to you again next time. Thank you. Don't forget to go to the Patreon. Right now, we got the hot thing finding out what really happened to Patrick Swayze. A lot of people don't remember what really and actually happened there. Go check that out. Yeah, an executive told me. We were at an executive party and he was talking about what happened with Patrick Swayze. Yeah, it was a birthday party.